I 17F have an older brother Jacob 26 meters and he's engaged to Amber 27F who's pregnant. They've been together for 9 years. My parents were letting them stay with us while they planned for the wedding, baby and looked for a bigger apartment. I guess some context for this would be that Amber does not have a good relationship with her parents since they disapproved of her dating my brother for whatever reason. She's pretty close to my parents. My 18th birthday is coming up next weekend and my mom and dad have been pretty excited about planning for it with me. I decided to get a new dress, corset belt, and flats so I could look nice for it since we're inviting some of my relatives over for lunch at Olive Garden and dinner at home. I paid for it all since my parents were already paying for the lunch, dinner, cake, and gifts. Ever since Amber found out what I was doing for my birthday, she had been making little remarks about how excessive it seemed for just one kid and how she didn't celebrate her 18th like I was going to. It was a little weird to me, especially since Jacob got an entire room rented out at our local community center for his, but I brushed it off since my birthdays that Amber had been around for were much more low-key. She also briefly gave me this weird look when she came into my room to ask about something and saw the dress hanging on my closet door. Yesterday, I came home to see my mom and dad yelling at Amber in the living room. I asked what was happening, and apparently, my mom caught Amber ripping out the soles of my new shoes. That wasn't the only thing Amber did. She also went at my dress and belt with scissors, cutting the ribbons and lace. I asked her why she would do that, but she didn't answer me or my parents when they asked themselves. We just stayed in the living room in an awkward silence until my brother came home an hour later. My parents gave him the rundown of what happened, and he did seem shocked that Amber would do this. My parents said point blank that either he or Amber had to pay me back for what she destroyed, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It was only until I said the combined cost of what I had brought, that Amber piped up and refused to pay. She would have to take that money from their baby fund, and it wasn't fair that my parents were doing all of this for me despite knowing what her home life and relationship with her parents were like. It devolved into an argument between my parents and Jacob and Amber, where my brother was defending her, saying it was just pregnancy hormones getting to her and that we should just let it go. Eventually, my dad had enough, and told them if neither of them were going to pay, then they had to get out and stay at a hotel or something in the meantime. My mom agreed with him. My brother and Amber seemed to think my parents were bluffing until my mom handed them gas money. They left with their bags packed 30 minutes later in a huff. Jacob has been texting me, begging for me to get our parents to let it go. He told me that I would be a shitty sister and aunt if I let my unborn niece be out on the streets over something I probably would only wear once.
Now we move to the next story.
22F brother 35 meters surprised me 6 months ago by planning a trip to Scotland for my birthday. He knew I've never traveled before and wanted to take me to my dream country due to tight finances. It was just the two of us, which I was okay with since at the time him and I were close. For context, my brother is married and has 2 kids under 6. His wife 34F had said she was happy for me and didn't mind holding down the fort for a week while we're on the trip. Her and I have never been close and quite frankly just tolerate each other for the sake of keeping the peace. She's never been a fan of how close my siblings are with each other. It all comes down to growing up in different family dynamics emo. Anyway, the trip was amazing and I loved every second of it. I was on such a high when we came back that I thanked my brother so many times for doing this for me until he told me to shut up lol. I thought everything was good and we resumed our lives normally. Imagine my surprise when I get a text 3 days after coming back from my SIL telling me off and calling me rude and ungrateful cause I didn't send her a text thanking her for babysitting on her own and having to do everything around her house for a whole week while I had fun with her husband. Yup, that's exactly how she worded it. I was flabbergasted. This is the same woman who smiled and told me to have fun on my trip, and now she's berating me for not thanking her for doing me a favor by taking care of her kids for a week. Am I crazy or is that totally irrational and just weird? I told her I'm not sure taking care of your own children is babysitting or doing someone else a favor, and she blew up at me calling me a terrible ungrateful brat and that I never show appreciation for anything. I was so confused by all of this and called my brother, but he doubled down and told me the trip wouldn't have been possible had she not volunteered to take care of their kids so we can have fun and that I should be thanking her for doing it for me. I was and still am confused on why I need to thank a mother for taking care of her own kids. Anyway, to keep the peace I told her thanks for doing it, but she decided I wasn't being sincere and convinced my brother to go low contact with me. My siblings and my mum were confused by all of this but keep telling me to just bite my tongue and not stir the pot any further, but I'm just hurt and confused. My relationship with my brother has been strained since and it's taking a toll on me. I just need outside opinions cause I'm genuinely confused on whether or not I'm the asshole in this whole mess.
Thank you for watching. Let us know what you feel about the story in the comment section. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story that could become your next favorite.